Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, or if it's your first time here, hi and welcome. I hope you all had a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. I love all of the positivity and optimism that people are bringing into 2021, and I really hope that that lasts. In addition to surviving 2020, which given how my year started was a feat in and of itself, right before New Year's Eve I actually had a birthday, and it's a bit of a milestone because now I can say that I have officially managed to make it on this planet against all odds at times, it would seem, for a quarter of a century. And I'm not the kind of person that goes for the big birthday blowout bashes. It's just not really my personal style. But I did spend some time reflecting on the last 25 years. I looked at some old baby pictures and just spent some time thinking about everything that's happened. There was a lot. And I wanted to sit down and talk about some of the things that I've learned. And this video idea is not original to me. I've seen other content creators do this, but I thought that it would be fun to do a 25 things I learned in 25 years video. So I wrote up a list and we're gonna go through it. And this is in no particular order. It's basically just how the thoughts came to me as I was writing it out. And I wrote out a few different versions, but this is the one that I liked the most. And of course, there are more than just 25 things that I've learned, but for purposes of this video, I kept the list to just 25, so I hope you enjoy. So the first is that being happy and inspired in your life is more important than fitting into any type of societal mold. And I feel like I've done a really good job of living up to that for myself. That's something that I've always tried to do, even though at times it has been really difficult because it's required me to step out of my comfort zone and do things that either don't come naturally to me or make me really uncomfortable. But it has always paid off. The second is that having some basic mechanical knowledge can really help you save quite a bit of money. It's crazy to me how many people don't know how to change a tire or change their oil, change a light bulb on their vehicle, even something as innocuous and simple as changing out their windshield wipers. I say all these things that are vehicle related because vehicle related costs can really add up, and if you can save money in the little things, why wouldn't you? The third is that it's always okay to admit that you're unhappy or that you aren't feeling your best. Nothing can change or improve if you aren't willing to speak up, even if the only person you're speaking up to is yourself. The fourth is that coffee is amazing, and it should not have taken me 23 years to learn that. I avoided and put off drinking coffee for the longest time, mostly because I didn't like the way it tasted and I thought that people who drank it were just silly addicts. Maybe I'm a silly addict now, but when your day starts at 3 a.m., that kick of caffeine really helps you out, and when I discovered that, there was honestly no going back, and now I really enjoy it. The fifth is that it doesn't matter if people, even those closest to you, misunderstand your beliefs and decisions. They aren't the ones who have to live with them. You are. And as somebody who tends to be a natural people pleaser, I wish that I would have learned that a lot sooner, because once you kind of step into and embrace that attitude, things become a whole lot simpler. The sixth is that money can't buy you happiness, but financial freedom can bring you independence, and avoiding unnecessary debt is a good idea. So is living below your means. I think that pretty much all of us can live with a whole lot less than we actually have, and me personally, I would rather live well below my means and be financially stable and financially free than to be shackled with a whole bunch of debt living in opulence. The seventh is that you cannot fix people, so do not try. And it is as simple as that, and I'm going to leave it there. And if you can't understand that, then you have a lot more to learn and probably a lot more heartbreak to experience. The eighth is that people almost always tend to act from a selfish perspective. Nothing is personal towards you, and if you can internalize that, it's a lot easier to act from a place of kindness towards frustrating behavior. This is something that within the last year I've been really working on a lot, especially with people lashing out and reacting very in the moment to the things that are happening around them with how uncertain everything has been. This has been a big lesson. The ninth is that institutionalized religion and New Age spirituality share a lot of commonalities, and all of them want your money. The 10th is that feelings are meant to be felt and experienced, not suppressed. No one is 100% happy 100% of the time, and if they tell you that they are lying. The 11th is that if something is making you unhappy, change it. And if you can't change it, change your perspective and attitude towards it. This is something that I think Alcoholics Anonymous hit right on the nose, and it's something that I think about a lot. The 12th is that being clear on what you believe, why you believe it, and what you will and will not tolerate is important. No one will stand up for you if you won't stand up for yourself. The last year hasn't taught us that yet. I don't know what will. The 13th is that mental health is really important, and therapy is a good thing, not an admittance of irreparable damage on your part. I grew up during a time when people still didn't have the best attitude towards mental health and towards counseling and therapy. Thankfully, that has changed a lot in the last 5 to 10 years, but I wish that that's something that everybody could have started to embrace a whole lot sooner. The 14th is that finding a hobby that brings you joy can help carry you through the times when everything else isn't so inspiring. This is something that I leaned on a lot when I was in the Navy because I was not inspired or having a good time or feeling joyful about what I was doing during my 9 to 5 or 6 to 6. Having something else to devote my energy and time to, whether it was YouTube or volunteering, helped me a lot, and it kept me from falling into a rut that I would have become trapped in, which is something that I think happens to a lot of people, unfortunately. The 15th is that planners and to-do lists are awesome. I've really stepped into and embraced that in the past year, and I don't think I'll ever go back because it really helps me stay sane. The 16th is never get so lost in the end goal that you forget to live in the moment. I am reading a book by Eckhart Tolle called The Power of Now, and it's all about mindfulness and living in the present moment, and this is something that he talks about a lot in that book, and it's something that I've been embracing quite a bit just within the last several years of my life. Having goals and ambitions and things that you want to do is good, and we should all do that, but you can become trapped in this cycle of always trying to reach the next thing and forgetting to really live in the moment and appreciate where you are now. The 17th is that wavy potato chips are the best kind of chip, and I will argue with anybody anytime about that. 18th is staying in a toxic situation out of some misguided sense of loyalty or love is a really dumb idea. Don't do that. The 19th is if something is meant to be, it really will just fall into place. You won't have to fight it. It won't be a struggle. It will just be. And I wish people could understand that. I wish my younger self would have understood that better than I do now, but some things you just learn with time. The 20th is that people are full of their own biases, and there are no exceptions to that. A good example of this was when somebody that I really looked up to as a reliable, educated source of information said something that was really out of character and really off base and off color for them, and it was because they had a bias towards the thing that they were talking about, and they let that get in the way of actual research and reason. The 21st is that laying past hurts to rest and letting go of internalized anger is one of the best things that you can do for yourself. It's really, really hard. It's really difficult. It's not going to happen overnight. It could take years, but it's worth it, and you will be so thankful that you put in the time and the work at the end of it all. The 22nd is a continuation of the 21st in that nothing is ever really settled and there is no such thing as closure, and that is okay. And that is something that I don't think I really started to understand until more recently. I thought that you could go through something, have things happen, process it all, and it would just be gone into the ether, but that's not really how it works. Even if we do our best to let go of something, there will still be the lingering effects of whatever that thing was, and that's fine. That's just life. That's what goes into making us who we are as people, and that's not something that you should be upset about or fight against or feel like is a mark of failure on your part. That's just what it means to be a human being living on planet Earth. The 23rd is that believing that you can be a force for change versus believing that you are powerless is the stuff on which societies either unite or fall. And I will always tell people that if there is something that you are passionate about and that you care about, and if you have a voice, you need to use it towards that, because otherwise nothing will ever progress or change. Society will become stagnant and fall apart. The 24th is that some people just want to complain. They don't actually want to change anything or make anything better, and that's because being miserable is a part of their identity, and if they lost that part of themselves, they wouldn't know who they were anymore. And the 25th and final thing that I've learned is that no one has all of the answers or solutions to a problem. Beware of anyone who says they do. And that also goes along with what I am always harping on, which is to do your own research, question everything, and take everything with a grain of salt. So there you go. Those are the 25 things I've learned in 25 years. I feel like it's a pretty comprehensive list. I feel like there's a good sprinkling of a little bit of everything in there. Like I said, there's more that I just didn't put in here or that I couldn't really figure out a way to verbalize, but I feel like that's a pretty good representation. And I feel really blessed to be sitting here after everything that has happened, everything that I've gone through, and be the person that I am in the position that I am. I'm really, really grateful for everything that life has given to me, everything that has come my way, even the challenges and the horrific things that have happened. I can genuinely say beyond the shadow of a doubt that I would not take any of it back, and I wouldn't change any of it, because if you change even one thing, circumstances would not be what they are. And I see so many silver linings and so many hidden blessings in my life and just where everything is and where everything's going. It's a lot to try to put into words, but hopefully you understand what I'm driving at. So I hope that you enjoyed this list. If you've never done something like this, I definitely invite you to. It was kind of interesting to write it all out and see what came up for me. It was honestly quite a bit of fun. Now may be the perfect time to do something like this, since we are on the cusp of a new year, heading into new challenges and new opportunities and new moments. This might be a good time to reflect on what you have in your toolbox, so to speak, to take with you and help you through everything that is to come. I do want to say one final thing about this year and last year. It's something that I've been thinking about a lot. I've seen so many people, especially on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, dumping on 2020 and basically giving it the middle finger as they walk the other way, which I cannot say that I blame anyone for doing. But I do want to say that there's all this positivity and optimism towards 2021. Everybody's saying it's going to be different, it's going to be better, and it most certainly can be. But it will only be that if you make up your mind to have that attitude towards it. And I'm not talking about the challenges and unforeseen issues that are outside of our control. I'm purely talking about what is within your control, your perspective and your attitude and that kind of thing. Situations are pretty much all of the time what you make of them. And that will go for this year, it went for last year, and it'll go for all of the rest of the years to come. And that's just something that I want to put out there. Thanks for sitting through this. Like I said, I hope you enjoy it. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope that I will see you for the next video, whenever and wherever that may be. Bye, guys.